In last week's video, we made this rather lovely stone-baked bloomer. I'm conscious now that having done that, we may have already rendered this video redundant, but nevertheless, let's go ahead with the 10 steps to amazing, perfect stone-baked bread. Roll that theme tune. I think we need a new theme tune, or maybe we need to get rid of the theme tune entirely, because let's face it, it is slightly underwhelming, isn't it? The first thing on my list is to heat your stone. There's no point baking on a hot stone if you're not baking on a hot stone. That's the whole point. Your dough is in contact with the heat for a prolonged amount of time. So preheat it well. My Cordiorite ones, I give them like 30 minutes, then I'm happy, it's good to go. Whatever thickness yours is, whatever material it's made out of, it might take a little bit longer. Heat it up. Spray it with a spritzer gun like this, and if the spray kind of sizzles and goes away, you're probably good to go. Just don't tip a whole load of water over it because it might crack. The second thing here is to pay attention to your shaping. We've spoken about this before. When you're doing a loaf in a tin, it's supported by the tin sides. When you're baking a freestanding loaf, there is no support. It is literally holding its shape because of the work you've done in the pre-shape and the shaping stage, building that all-important structure. That's what's going to hold its shape as you put it on the stone, so it doesn't spread out like a pancake, it stays up and bursts upwards. Stone-baked freestanding loaves rely on your skills, the practice of your craft, and we all know what makes progress is repetition and observation. You might not get it right first time, but spoiler alert, that's the whole point. Do it and do it again, paying attention to your shaping. Let your dough breathe is the third thing. We use couche-cloths and bannetons for that reason. They are breathable. It encourages the outside of your dough to dry out so it won't stick to anything, and it's much nicer to slash with a sharp blade. It has to be breathable to make that happen. That means no cling film, no plastic, no nothing. Even if you're putting a sourdough loaf in the fridge overnight, you can put a cloth over if you want, but don't wrap it up in plastic. I get so many emails saying, "Hey Jake, I followed your recipe exactly to the T, and my dough got stuck in my basket. I had to throw the dough away, I had to throw the basket away, and I've given up bread making forever." Then I'll say, "Exactly?" And they'll say, "Exactly." And then later down the line, it will come out, "Oh, the only thing I did differently was I put my sourdough loaf in a bin bag, puffed it up, and tied a knot in it before I put it in the fridge overnight, because that's what my friend Brian does." Whether you're using a basket with or without a liner, just don't use plastic. Number 4 is give it a wiggle. Yeah? Whenever you turn a dough out onto a peel or a pizza onto a pizza peel, give it a wiggle to make sure it's not sticking. Know that it's not sticking and adjust it at this point if you need to. Shimmy a scraper underneath, a little tactical dust in the flour in those sticky areas, and you'll be fine. What we're trying to avoid here is those face in a hot oven moments trying to shimmy your dough off a sticky peel while your eyebrows are sweating. Shimmy it, score it, or top it in the case of a pizza, and shimmy it again before you open the oven and begin to load. This point directly relates later on to point number 7 as well, by the way, but give it a shimmy. Before we talk about number 5, I'd like to mention this video is sponsored by the Bake with Jack Homebakers Bulletin. Yeah, that's right, it's me. If you're missing content, if you're missing videos, recipes that go up on the blog, which is bread and sometimes not bread as well, you can get all this stuff delivered to your inbox absolutely free in your Home Bakers Bulletin email. I write it and I send you all the good stuff every single week. It's free. The link's below if you want to sign up. Oh, hi! Point number 5 comes to you from the Bake with Jack couch. Why? Because I forgot to film it. Bring everything over to the oven ready, especially if you're loading off multiple peels like baguettes, for example. Boil the kettle ready to go and have it close by so you don't have far to move when you're loading up. The point I'm trying to make here is don't open the oven door and then walk your baguettes one by one across your kitchen, dropping a couple on the floor while all the heat escapes out of your oven. Have everything close by, and now that you're ready to load, back to Jack in the studio. Number 6, be swift when you're at the oven, but please don't panic. Load your oven swiftly. You want to keep the door open for the minimum amount of time in theory, so you don't lose too much heat out of it. Having said that, don't go into panic mode when you're at the oven door. Make sure you pay attention when sliding your baguettes or your pizza in to make sure it's in the correct position. And remember, if anything goes in slightly wonky or skew with, just give it a few seconds to seal up underneath, and you'll be able to slide it around and shimmy about with the side of a little peel. Often in class, we get to the oven and I'm opening the oven. We've got 4 people getting all their breads into the oven, one after another. Some people go into panic mode and completely neglect to look at what they're doing and pay attention to the process and learn because they're in panic mode. Be swift, try and get it in as efficiently as possible, but do bring your consciousness here and really observe and understand what's going on. Number 7, we touched upon earlier, parchment paper is your best friend. Don't be proud, okay? It's not a cop-out to use parchment paper in between your dough and your peel. Put your parchment on your peel, your dough on the top, and then slide the whole thing in, not the peel, don't put the peel into the oven. Slide the dough and the paper together into the oven. That way, it's not gonna stick to your peel, it's not gonna stick to your stone, ever. We do this at home on pizza night. Because the longer your dough is sitting on the peel or on the table while you're topping off your pizza, the stickier and moister it's going to get underneath. The kids take a little bit longer to top their pizzas, which is fine, but we do them all in each on a square of parchment paper. Slide the parchment paper onto the peel, slide the pizza and the parchment into the oven, and then we've got the corners of the parchment paper we can use to tweak and shimmy and move stuff about if we need to. Do it with pizza, do it with loaves. You could do long pieces for baguettes and ciabattas because they're quite sticky underneath sometimes. Disclaimer though, if you're baking outside in a wood-fired oven, don't use paper because the whole thing will go up in flames. Number 8 is use steam. I feel like I don't need to tell you to use steam by this point. You knew that already, didn't you? Steam is even more crucial when stone baking bread. To get that burst on the top, if you want to see me do it, check last week's video, 192 or 160, I think it is, for an alternative method. Steam up everything apart from pizza. Number 9 is powerful. Observe what happens when it bakes and observe the final bread too. That was my phone. Did you hear that? Watch what happens in the oven. Observe what happens when the bread's baking, whether it opens up or it doesn't open up. Most recipes will tell you to bake on a high heat for 10 minutes before turning it down. Even I used to do that in the olden days. Theoretically, it's a good idea, but all ovens are different and no advice works for every single person's oven in every single person's home. There can't possibly be a one rule for all when it comes to baking times and temperatures. This point needs a video all to itself, and it will do, and in fact I've been playing with the complete opposite principle. We're going to talk about that soon as well. But for now, just watch what's going on. We spoke about this in great depth in video number 190, your power to watch and observe. Don't set a timer for 30 minutes. If the recipe says 30 minutes and go and sit down, have a cup of tea and come back 30 minutes later, that's a recipe for disaster. Have a peep through the glass every once in a while. That first 8 minutes of baking is pretty cool to watch anyway. And adjust the temperature as you go along if you need to, turning it down if you feel like things are browning off too fast, for example. Number 10 is... oh, I didn't do number 10. I couldn't be bothered by this point. I did 9. I thought, you know what? I'm going to take the rest of the day off. Actually, number 10 is for you. Is there anything else I didn't mention here? Is there some gold nugget piece of wisdom you're holding in your incredible mind that you want to share with us all? Please unleash it upon the world in the comments box below, and let's all go down and learn from the entire Bake with Jack community, popping in their little 2 pence. I'm sure there's plenty to learn from all of your experience in your oven at home. So let me hear it. If you've got number 10, pop it underneath. This is the 3rd video we've done in a short stone baking series. I hope you've enjoyed it and got a lot of value out of it. Go have a look at the previous 2 if you missed them. Don't forget, you can sign up for a Homebakers built-in and you'll never miss anything. That's it. See you soon. Bye-bye.